Now we're ready to start our knitting, so notice the position of my hands. The left needle has the stitches on it, and I'm kind of folding my hands over and putting my thumb right behind the first stitch. I want you to remember that every stitch is a loop on the needle, and all we're really concerned about is the front part of the stitch. Take your right needle, which at this point has no stitches on it, and I want you to point it and stick it into the bottom of the front loop. And as you push it all the way through, you're going to make a big X with your needles. From this point on until the stitch is completed, I want you to think of these needles as glued together, and they may never come apart. So notice where my thumb is and my index finger on the back. I want you to shift your thumb over to the right needle and shift your back index a little bit more onto the right needle, so that both the index and the thumb are pinching that right needle. This is very important. Your bottom fingers are holding on to the left needle. Your thumb and index finger are pinching the right needle, and this gives you a good secure hold on your needles and allows your right hand to be free so you can wrap your yarn. Take the yarn in your right hand, come around counterclockwise, and end up coming in between the two needles and put your yarn and your right hand back on your needle. In any way you feel comfortable, there's no right or wrong way. Now, still pretending your needles are glued, put your left index finger up on top, and let me make this a little tighter, and slide the needle down, sliding it against the left needle. And I want you to notice that there's this hole that your needle is going to come right through. See that? So let it come through, and again push it up past the skinny part of your needle, and make sure your needles are still glued together, and just gently lift the stitch off the needle. Now it has transferred from your left needle to your right needle. Let's do that again. The point of your right needle goes into the bottom of the front loop of your stitch. You're pushing it all the way through to make your X. You're shifting your thumb and index finger over to the right needle. It's nowhere near this yarn, which has total movement. Wrap your yarn around the back of the needle, coming through in between the needles. Come back and hold your yarn and your right needle. Pretending your needles are glued together, start pushing the right needle or the back needle down against the front needle. Find your hole. There it is. It's waiting for you. It's going to slip your right needle right into that hole and pick it right up and off. So now think about the vision of a sewing needle, a sewing machine needle. Sewing machine needle goes straight up and straight down, and it's very consistent in its movement. So let's think about that while we do the next stitch. The right needle goes into the point, into the bottom of the stitch. We make our X, we shift our fingers. We wrap our yarn counterclockwise around the needle and come back and hold both the yarn and the needle. Think about that sewing machine. The needle's going straight down, it falls right into its hole, and it goes straight up all the time, pretending that the needles are glued together. And lift off. And one more time. When you wrap your yarn, you are allowing a certain amount of yarn to be around that needle. That is creating the perfect size stitch for the yarn and needles you have chosen. When you come down and when you come up and pull it off, your stitch is now perfect. If you tighten at this point, you're going to make a perfect stitch imperfect. It will be too tight, and your gauge will be off, and your garment might end up to be too small. So trust what you're doing. Go in, shift, come around, straight down into the hole, straight up, and now you've created the perfect stitch. So now we're up to our last stitch, and I want to work this with you to show you how to prepare for your next row. You're always going to go in like you have been doing. Don't get nervous because it's the last stitch. Pinch and shift your thumb and index finger. Wrap the yarn, come down and straight up like a sewing needle and off the needle. Now if you want, you can drop your empty needle. You're going to rotate your needle, and now it's going to be horizontal and point towards your right hand. That is in position for starting your next row. The other thing is that you'll notice that this stitch looks a little uneven and a little odd compared to the other stitches. Don't worry about it, it will correct itself in the next stitch. But because it looks a little big, some people make a mistake and go into that loop. Remember, before you start your next row, you want to pull down your garment, this is your little garment, and pull down that stitch, which will help correct it a touch, and make sure you see your yarn coming through the stitch. When you have done all three of those things, you're ready to start your next row. Put your left hand on and get ready, and remember to go into the bottom of the loop that's on your stitch. Pinch and shift, wrap around, come straight down and straight up like a sewing needle. And if you continue to do this and finish your whole ball of yarn, or maybe two, you will make a beautiful scarf, and the stitch, which is all knitting at this point, is called garter.